You are listening to the Metropolitan Mix on ABN Radio.
Hey. Shut the wallet, super scary. Me fight like Mike Tyson. Me dance like Michael Jackson. Me kill a lion like Samson. Speed them up like Ben Johnson. Me rule them like Jerry John Rawlings. Because me not take no nonsense. Me love pretty girl like Yvonne Nelson. Drop it like a Sophie Martin. Like a Zuma Nelson, yeah me like boxing. We doing this song, we never passing. When we are race, nobody cross me. Big up all of me bosses. That's why everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. See, say everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. Everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. See, say everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. Bandana from Ghana, na 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 na. You can get me, fa la la la. Lyrical tight and bada bada. Scare them every day, baga gaga. Dance all kingdom, all I wanna. SM youth, raise your banana. You speak me mind in every kana. Newtown, Nima, say bayawa. Telegona, Calvada. Sometimes it good, sometimes it bada. Yeah, it a chow kaka. That's why everybody like my thing, like my thing, like my thing. See, say everybody like my thing, like my thing, like my thing. Everybody like my thing, like my thing, like my thing. See, say everybody like my thing, like my thing, like my thing. Me fight like Mike Tyson. Me dance like Michael Jackson. Me kill a lion like Samson. Speed them up like Ben Johnson. Me rule them like Jerry John Rawlings. Because me not take no nonsense. Me love pretty girl like Yvonne Nelson. Drop it like me Sophie Martin. Like a Zuma Nelson, yeah me like boxing. We doing this song, we never passing. When we are race, nobody cross me. Big up all of me bosses. That's why everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. See, say everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. Everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. See, say everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. That's why everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. See, say everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. Everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing. See, say everybody like my thing. Like my thing, like my thing.
We are online, DAB, and
the ABN Radio app.
Rewind, rewind, selector. Rewind, 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 rewind. Now see what's happening. Baby fresh on the beat, be killing them all, of course.
Anytime I rewind you, when I give you my heart, oh, it done make me to smile, oh. I need to melt my heart. Oh my God, oh my God. Anytime I rewind you, when I give you my heart, oh, it done make me to smile, oh. I need to melt my heart. Oh my God, oh my God. Anytime I rewind you, the very first day, the way you stand for corner, you and your boys, they look my body, eh, oh, they do me totori. I've been tasting agony, but when you say hello, I know say I don't die, oh. I see them for your eye, hey, I swear, I see them for your eyes, yo. Such a gentleman, and the way you took my hand, it be like say it tickled, it tickled, tickled. Nobody need to tell me say not true love, it is anytime I rewind you, when I give you my heart, oh, it done make me to smile, oh. I need to melt my heart, oh my God, oh my with you, my love. Baby more, baby more, baby more. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sweetie more, daddy more, daddy more. Come on, your love they make me wiggle. They wiggle. Nobody need to tell me say not true love. Because anytime I rewind to, when I give you my heart, oh, it make me to smile, oh. I need to melt my heart. Oh my God, oh my God, yeah. Because anytime I rewind to, when I give you my heart, oh, it make me to smile, oh. I need to melt my heart. Oh my God, oh my God.
You are listening to the Metropolitan Mix on
ABN Radio,
London's Afropolitan radio station.
More news, more information. This is
From the
ABN.
Sky News Centre at 2. The government wants an investigation into violence in Gaza, which killed around 60 people yesterday.
The United Kingdom has been clear in calling for urgently a need to establish the facts of what happened, including why such a volume of live fire was used. And we are supportive of that independent, transparent investigation.
That's Foreign Office Minister Alistair Burt speaking in the Commons. Demonstrations have increased after the US Embassy moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, with Israeli forces shooting protesters on the border. A pilot will go on trial in January after pleading not guilty to 12 charges following the Shoreham airshow crash in 2015. 11 men died when a vintage jet came down onto a busy road in West Sussex. A British woman who's in prison in Iran accused of spying has been told she could face fresh charges. Downing Street says it expects the Foreign Secretary to discuss Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe's case with his Iranian counterpart when they meet about the country's nuclear deal later. Nazanin's husband Richard explains how the family reacted to the news the US had pulled out of that agreement last week.
With horror and concern and trepidation, and it's clear that our case has been political all along, and it's also clear that everything has got very political at the moment. And Nazanin's family were very happy when the nuclear deal was signed and were distraught last week when the clear announcement was that it was going to be dumped.
DIY chain Wix is axing a third of its staff at its Hertfordshire head office as part of a cost-cutting drive. The group's getting rid of 100 employees from the site in Watford. The US president says his wife is doing really well after having surgery for a benign kidney condition. Donald Trump has tweeted that Melania will be out of hospital in the next few days. And it's understood Joe Hart's been told he won't be going to this summer's World Cup with England. National team manager Gareth Southgate's reportedly decided not to pick the Manchester City goalkeeper, who's been on loan at West Ham this season. That's the latest. I'm Annie Green.
Hi, this is Rodney Hines. And I'm Michael. Join us on the Voice of Sports show each and every Saturday on ABN Radio. We'll keep you bang up to date with all the latest football scores, and we'll discuss all the big talking points in the world of sport. So don't forget, join us this Saturday, 4 till 6 on ABN Radio UK.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart ripped out of a family. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife. Save your life. What do you like for breakfast?
Well, it depends what mood I'm in. If I'm happy, I like a little bit of porridge with banana because I'm feeling healthy. If I'm in a...
Me, I like a bit of fruit. Nice apples, sliced apples.
I love a cinnamon and raisin bagel, some scrambled eggs, and a...
I say nice English bit.
Salad, fruit and orange.
I like wholemeal bagel with a bit of cream cheese on it and some bacon and then some avocado. And on the side, I like to have
fried egg with bacon, with baked beans, toast.
I normally take my cocoa. Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a typical Ghanaian, so I like my cocoa.
I'm not too sure. I normally don't eat breakfast.
It doesn't matter how you like your breakfast, or you may not like breakfast at all, but you will love the sound of your radio when the breakfast is Afropolitan. Watch out for the new ABN Radio breakfast show with Ifuadum. ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station.
ABN Radio, home of Afrobeats.
song on so many different dials. Cause I got more hits than a disciplined child. So when they see me, everybody barack. Man, I'm like a young gun, fully barack. I cry teardrops over the massive attack. I only make hits like I work with a racket and back. Look at my jacket and hat, slow down, berserk, slow down to earth. I'm bringing gravity back, adopted by the major. I want my family back. People work hard just to get all their salary tax. Look, I'm just a writer from the ghetto like Mallory Black. Man, where the hell's all the sanity at? Damn, I used to be the kid that no one cared about. That's why you have to keep screaming till they hear you out. Never took cause we needed a change. I needed a break. For a sec I even gave up believing and praying. I even done the legal stuff.
Yes, indeed. ABN Radio UK, London's Afropolitan station. We do still remain the same. We always coming up with the facts, and we always stick to the facts, isn't it? It's just gone past 2 o'clock, and you are listening to me, Kente Kufuor, on Sports Link Up, together with my co-host Abu Bakar Kamara. Abu, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Kwame.
How you doing, mate?
Very fine. How are you?
I'm so excited. You see, I've come in today wearing my shorts and my shirts.
Bright as always.
Well, you got to, you got to, especially when you've got a lot coming up. You've got a World Cup. I mean, the Premier League is over.
Yeah.
But we've got a World Cup around the corner.
We've got the biggest competition around the corner.
There you go. The biggest competition in the world.
There's still a lot of football left.
It's still a lot of football. Yes. You know what I mean? So, and no, I'm also excited because I know that most of these big clubs, big countries, they're going to name their squad. I'm excited. Brazil have named Neymar in their team, even though he's injured.
Yeah, it was always going to happen.
It's always going to happen, isn't it?
It's going to happen. There's no way Brazil is going to go to this World Cup without Neymar.
Right. Let me just bring our listeners to speed what's happening today. I'm coming up on the show today. We've got Fulham Football Club defies the odds by booking a place in the Championship playoff final. Now the question is, who joins Fulham FC in the final? Is it going to be Aston Villa, or B, is it going to be Middlesbrough? The two of them face off today. And also, like we mentioned earlier on, Russia 2018, FIFA Russia 2018 is getting closer and closer and closer. England board Gary Southgate will name his 23-man squad who will be traveling with him to Russia come this summer 2018. So the question is, whom do you think is qualified or is fit enough to be in that plane to Russia? We shall be looking to that. We shall be crossing over to speak to our national team expert, Mohamed Osman, later on in the show. And Premier League legends, Alan Shearer, who's also a former captain of our England national team, Alan, so that suggests that Manchester City can go ahead and dominate the Premier League for a long time to come. Do you agree with what Shearer is saying? Do you believe Pep Guardiola have got what it takes and he's got the money, the backing from the board to dominate the Premier League for quite a long time to come? Please give me a call on 0208-191-7078 or 0208-670-7300. You can even WhatsApp or text me on 0788-7475-940. And also, finally, Abu, what we're going to discuss is managerial. We've got a lot of managerial casualties at the moment. So what we're going to discuss is which of the managers is going to take over at Arsenal Football Club. Now that Arsene Wenger's time is over, who is going to take over from Arsene Wenger? 22 years he's been at the club. So is it going to be Arteta? Is it going to be Patrick Vieira? Or is it even going to be Allegri from Juventus, who doesn't seem like he's coming? All this and more coming up right after this. Yes, welcome back. It's all 10 past 2. You can join in the conversation by giving us a call on 0208 191 7078 or 0208 670 7300. You can WhatsApp or text us, which I believe a lot of people are doing at the moment, sending me a lot of text messages. During the course of the show, I'll try and read the text messages out, but you can also do that if you haven't already. Do that on 0788 7475 940. Gentlemen, once again, Jermaine, you just joined us. How you doing, mate?
I'm fine, thank you, guys.
Good to have you here, mate. All right, Abu, let's jump straight into the Europa League finals. Big game tomorrow in France. It doesn't get bigger and better than this.
A very big game, you know, when you think about the opportunity to get into the Champions League and the money as well that it raises for you, and it's an important game. It's good, but I just fancy Atletico Madrid in it because I just feel like they just got that extra bit of like cup magic, when it comes to who really wants it. And as we saw against Arsenal, they put them away when they needed to, even though they had 10 men.
They got the job done.
They got the job. They know how to handle a game. They know their game management is quite good, and for me, that's why I give them a bit more edge over Marseille, because Marseille in the last round, we saw them concede quite a few goals against Leipzig, so we know you can get at them. The one thing you can't say about Atletico Madrid is that you can get at their defense willingly. They're going to make it very difficult for you, and if they can get one, they can even win it over 1-0 because we've seen them do it. So.
Yes, Jamel, let me come to before we even cross over to speak to our national team expert who is patiently waiting for us on the line. Marseille, even a lot of people have written them off already. They can still cause Atletico Madrid a lot of problem. They got players like Payet.
Yes,
they can still do damage to them.
Yes, going into the game, cup final, Marseille will be underdogs.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Most people will be tipping Atletico Madrid to get the job done because they are the bigger and better team going into the cup final. But history has suggested that upsets can happen, and it has happened before, so I wouldn't be shocked if Marseille were to go out there and get a result, to be honest.
Right, so. I totally agree with you, Jermaine. That was Jermaine Gatti, our sports journalist that you just listened to. But joining us on the line is Premier League expert and also our national team expert, Ahmed Osman, joining us right now. Now, Ahmed, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Kente. Good afternoon to your guest.
Good afternoon to you. Ahmed, a big game tomorrow in France, Europa League final. Marseille coming up against a very determined Atletico Madrid. How do you see that panning out?
Yeah, well, it's not really a surprise to see Atletico Madrid in this final. It was predicted beforehand when they lost in the Champions League group stages in a group stage that actually a lot of people thought that Atletico would win that group. However, they were very disappointing. Ended up getting dropped out and finishing third, and then going into the Europa. In my opinion, they're too powerful a team to be in this competition. And
they've got a lot of history between them, isn't it?
Exactly, a lot of history between both teams, and Atletico Madrid will fancy their chances. Marseille, in my opinion, they have one of the most talented players in France and in the world at the moment in Payet, because I think it's very understated that he is actually one of the players that West Ham would regret letting go of. At the time, he was one of the best players in the world. Going to Marseille, continued to play so well after forcing that move all the way to France, and he shows his quality. So it should be a very interesting game. And Atletico, like I said, will fancy their chances. They're the A side in this final. But we know in finals anything can happen. So it should be a very interesting match.
I mean, do you see Atletico Madrid's manager? Simeone, he's been linked heavily with a couple of teams in the Premier League. Do you see him staying at the club if they lose or if they win, even if they win?
He's very emotionally attached to the club. I think that everyone's kind of realised he is a world-class manager.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't show it through beautiful football. However, I think he's very similar to Jose Mourinho.
Okay.
He will show you the best football in the world. However, he gets the job done. And in my opinion, he's an updated version of a Jose Mourinho tactics. And I think many clubs in England will want him, including Arsenal. Whether they can get him is a different question. I don't think Arsenal are a bigger club than Atletico at the moment, as you saw when they just lost in the semi-final. I see him staying maybe a couple more years since he's so emotionally attached to the club, and then maybe looking for a better club, maybe a world-class side like Chelsea, who seem to find the manager every year to possibly to possibly.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, exactly. So to possibly come to England and take it by storm.
Another player that was on the limelight, the French playmaker, Griezmann. Griezmann. Do you see Griezmann being still at Atletico Madrid come next year?
That's a difficult one. I think a lot of rumours have been going around. A lot of sources in Spanish football have been saying that there seems to be a deal nearer and nearer as the day goes by in Barcelona. He's got a release clause of 100 million. So many clubs were interested in him last season. Like Manchester United, Manchester United also were very interested in the player. He decided to stay, even though it was very close to being completed due to the transfer ban that was implemented to the Atletico Madrid board and the club. He decided to stay as they couldn't sign anyone else, and the move to Manchester United fell through. But in my opinion, I think he'll be going to Barcelona this summer.
All right, he'll be going to Barcelona. So let's shift our attention a little bit from the Europa League final tonight, and let's talk about the Premier League. I mean, it just ended. The 2017-2018 just ended, and Mohamed Salah just got the golden boot. I mean, he rightly deserved it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said, I was at the show on Sunday with you and on Sports Link Up, and I mentioned several times that he has been, in my opinion, the best player this season in the world. I'm sure Messi and Ronaldo fans will say otherwise. However, they've been doing it every season. But for someone to actually hang around with these two legends of the game, these two goal-scoring machines, and consistently do it match after match, I think there was only the run of games that he was only not. I think the longest run of games that he wasn't able to score in was 3 games in the whole season. Amazing. Other than that, he's been so consistent, so brilliant for this Liverpool side, and even if he hasn't been scoring in games, he was still very influential. So, another amazing season, but like I said, the question will be, can he do it next season? Maybe 20 goals this season in the Premier League will make him, a non-one season wonder. But you know how harsh the English press are. They can be praising you one day, and the next day they can be turning around and calling you a flop. So we'll see what happens next season.
I mean, look, a very valid point there, Ahmed. But do you see him being maybe staying at Liverpool as well? Because a lot of money being thrown around these days in football. Even though a lot of people expect him to stay at Liverpool Football Club, even if he decides to stay at Liverpool Football Club, do you think he's going to move on after 2 years or maybe next year?
My sources tell me that before the end of the season, Mohamed Salah was looking forward. He was looking towards Barcelona. He was looking towards Real Madrid. Looking towards a Bayern Munich, a world-class side to continue developing and to keep growing. However, he has felt the love from Liverpool fans. He has felt the love from the Premier League. He loves the Premier League. It's the best league in the world that adapts to his style of speed, finesse, finishing, aggressiveness. He likes that. And so, in my opinion, he will probably stay for another couple of seasons, maybe even more, because at the moment he's loving his football at Liverpool. He's loving the football in the city of Liverpool, and everyone loves him. So why change when everything's going so well? And why be in the shadow of Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi when you can be a legend by yourself at this great football club?
All right, and my last question is, let's quickly do a World Cup update. A lot of countries are naming their team, coming up with their squad for the World Cup. It's just around the corner. Russia 2018. What have you got for us on that?
Yes, well, Brazil have named their World Cup squad, as you mentioned in the beginning of the show. An injured Neymar has been included. No surprise there. We know what happened last time. He wasn't included.
He's pivotal. He's pivotal to Brazilian team, isn't he?
He's pivotal. He's very important. He's the passion, the leadership, the skill, the finishing ability that Brazil needs at this World Cup. And if they were to have any chance to win this World Cup, he needs to be in that starting lineup. Also, England will be naming their 23-man squad. What we do know, the sources tell us from Sky Sports and all around England at the moment, is that Joe Hart will not be included. He was told by Gareth Southgate that he won't be in the 23-man squad, and in my opinion, it's very justified. He's been very poor, and all the other keepers.
So another question is, what keeper would they be taking? If Joe Hart is not available for them, so
Pickford, Butland.
Yeah, they'll probably start with either Butland or the Everton keeper.
Pickford, yeah.
Pickford will probably start, and Butland will probably be the second keeper. It should be a great opportunity for either one of them. They still have to prove themselves. Butland had an awful game against Swansea and beforehand also against Crystal Palace. He needs to prove himself. In my opinion, Pickford is the number one keeper for England. And there's still a question over John Joe Shelby, who, in my opinion, should be a shoo-in for this midfield for England. He's the best midfielder England have in terms of spreading the ball out wide, in terms of finding men all over the place. He was brilliant against Chelsea. And if Gareth Southgate is looking for a midfielder at his peak of his ability at the moment, then John Joe Shelby should be right up there in his pick list.
Ahmed, thank you very much. God bless you. Have a nice one.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the sunshine. Take care now. Bye-bye. Right, that was our European expert and also our Premier League expert that you just listened to. Ahmed Osman, I'm still come on the show. We're going to preview the big game in the Championship playoff final between Aston Villa and Middlesbrough. And also we shall be talking about the Europa League final tomorrow. All this to come right after this. So keep locked in.
It's here, the African Gospel Music and Media Awards 2018, celebrating excellence. On the 2nd of June 2018, at East London Arts and Music Main Auditorium, 45 Maltings Close, Bromley by Bow, London, E3 3TA, from 6 p.m, featuring Joe Beto, Diana Hamilton, Isabella, Called Out Music, Shekinah, Dena Mwanga, Afri David, Angel Bernard, Judith Sefuma, Blessing Ali, and Reapers Choir. For tickets and information, visit AfricanGospelMusicAwards.com or call 07906 932 670. The African Gospel Music and Media Awards 2018, celebrating excellence.
Clap your hands and dance it.
Community with discerning conversation.
Join me, Esther Alade, on The Discourse, where we will be redefining perspectives with authentic analysis.
Join The Discourse from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on ABN Radio.
This Friday and every Friday on ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station. Tune in to the new ABN Breakfast Show from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The London City Show has evolved into an all-new breakfast show with sizzling slices of juicy newsy current affairs served with junior jumbo-sized convos on issues you should be aware of. What did I just say? The ABN Breakfast Show, the Afropolitan breakfast you can't afford to miss.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart ripped out of a family. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife, save your life.
This is ABN Radio.
It's really my type of music.
We play your genre of music.
Let's go. See me, I no get 30 billion. Oh no, yeah, well. But I got so much love to give you. I got so much love to give you. Oh no, 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 no. I bless the day I found you. Let's go. Oh Lord of mercy. Oh, don't see me who I am, yes, yo.
One time, go.
Many girls them try to come my way. Oh, some fine, some bad, but I swear your time never there. That's why I bless the day I found you. Let's go. Oh Lord of mercy. Oh, don't see me who I am, yes, yo.
Right, I was Kitty with Odo. You can join in the conversation on 0208 191 7078 or 0208 670 7300. You can even WhatsApp or text us on 02078 874-75940. Abu, just before we even continue with our conversation, you've got some news coming up.
Yeah, very big news. Well, right now it's just sources, nothing confirmed, but we're hearing from Everton that Sam Allardyce might be leaving this summer.
Wow.
He's due to have a meeting with according to Sky sources, he's due to have a meeting with the chairman tomorrow. And what they're also understanding is that Marcus Silva, who obviously...
Marcus Silva is back again. The name is back again.
The ex-Watford manager, who obviously they chased in November and couldn't get him, and even offered as much as 12 million to snatch him away from Watford and couldn't get him, and he ended up getting sacked by Watford, which was always suspicious, and now his name is running up again. And I think it was Sam Allardyce has done the job that they brought him to do, which was to keep them in the Premier League, and I think they want Marcus Silva now, according to the sources that's going around. But watch his space and we'll find out more.
I mean, yes, indeed. Like you just said, it's not confirmed here, but it looks like Allardyce, who's 63, yes, will be having who's going to have some meeting with the owners of the club, Fahad Mushiri. I mean, let me come to you, Jermaine. Sam Allardyce, he's exactly what he says on the tin.
Yes, exactly.
They brought him in to keep them afloat.
Yes.
To keep them in the Premier League. And he's done just that.
Yeah.
So, do you think maybe they need to try and give him another chance to see maybe he can push them further up the table? Or you think, you know what, they need someone young and fresh, so Marcus Silva foots the bill?
I think with Everton's case, they needed someone young and fresh because we know what we're going to get with
they've got the money as well, you know?
Yeah. They've got some guys who are rich. Not as rich and wealthy like the top six, but they do have some money of their own. So with Everton's case, I feel that they need someone young and fresh like a Marcus Silva that can try and take the club forward, because Sam Allardyce, he's not known for taking clubs forward.
Yeah,
to an extent. So I feel that
he's known for relegation, but
settling the ship. That's what he does. Then I think Jermaine's absolutely right. Is the fact that he can't. Everton want to spend money to try and break that top four barrier, just like the way Tottenham have broke that barrier a couple of seasons ago. Yeah. And when you're trying to do that, you're trying to look at a manager that's going to bring attracting football.
That's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult. But that's why they want to bring a manager that's got the next dimension. As we just said, Sam Allardyce is a more stable the ship kind of manager. Make sure you're all right and you can stay in the league. Right. But in terms of knocking on and going to that next level, we haven't seen him take any team to that next level. So maybe it's time to give Marcus Silva the opportunity to try and see what he can do with Everton in a full season or pre-season with them. And I think they've always fancied him from early, so you can't say this is out of the blue. They've wanted him since November. They only got Sam Allardyce because they couldn't get him out of Watford's hands. So it makes sense. And for me, I saw it coming anyway, because they wanted to give him a 6 months contract when they first tried to appoint him, and he said no, so they gave him an 18 months. That's the same thing.
That's similar to what the situation that we've got at the London Stadium at West Ham.
And then even that, David Moyes, even though they've stayed up, he still haven't been confirmed whether he's going to stay on for the summer or not. So this short-term contracts is literally what it is a short-term contract. There's a reason why they're giving it to you, because they're not sure themselves. They're not trying to give too much financial backing to someone that they didn't necessarily want to keep for longer.
You see, the question is, Jermaine, do this short-term contract, don't that kind of contract put a lot of pressure on the manager and also the players at large? Because if you cannot back your manager, give him that big contract, show some confidence in him, how do you expect this player to react? At the end of the day, it's still going to go down the players. The players will be looking at, even the manager's not here for full time, so we can do what we want.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's the mentality, and then I think it's just the position that the manager comes in as well. Like, if you look at David Moyes and Sam Allardyce, when they both came in for a job, they were both a bit desperate, because Sam Allardyce had been out of the job for a while now, since the Crystal Palace. He retired from Crystal Palace, then Everton came up, then all of a sudden he's back in it. David Moyes, he's had a terrible time of it in Real Sociedad, came back, and it's just not worked out for either managers, so they've had to take the short-term contract to try and get their name back up there. But unfortunately for them, that's all that was there, and they just have to take it. But I agree with you, it doesn't fill the players or the manager with confidence, but you just have to go out there and prove themselves. And I think Sam Allardyce and David Moyes have both been a success in what they have done since they've got in. They've done what they came to do, which was to keep the clubs in the Premier League, and they've done that. But unfortunately for them, maybe the club don't see them as the man to take them further, and that happens a lot in football, and they just have to swallow it.
It's part of football, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of football.
Beautiful game. All right, let's shift our attention away from Sam Allardyce and Everton, and even away from the London Stadium. Let's talk about the big game in the Championship tonight, the Championship playoff semi-finals, second leg at Villa Park. Big game, Abu. I mean, look, Villa is going to the game. They are 1-up.
They've done well.
They've done really well.
Done well to go 1-up in a away leg, and now they just have to come home, get the home support, and make sure they get themselves over the line and go to that final in Wembley. That's what they need to be looking forward to. But they don't want. They have to be careful, sort of the same way, because the other tie, it was Derby County that led 1-0 in the previous game. Then they come in and lose 2-1 to Fulham in the second leg. So you have to keep your head screwed on, even though you got a 1-0 lead. But I think if they're at home, Aston Villa can pull this, especially with JT at the back. He's got enough experience to come in and actually make sure that defense.
Apparently, if they do qualify back into the Premier League, JT is going to have a big paycheck.
Well, definitely a big paycheck, because he's been instrumental to that, and I think everybody will be looking for a big paycheck. I think that's the beauty of coming to the Premier League. That's why they want it so much, because when you get into the Premier League, the first thing you do is knock on the gaffer's door or whoever's in charge of pay and say,
"I'm here, you know.
I want Premier League pay now." Like, you're in Premier League, so that's the beauty about it. It's a win-win, because the club is going to make a lot of money if you get into the Premier League. So it's only fair that they reward you for getting them into the Premier League. So yeah, I'd imagine all of them will get a bump payment really in the pays.
That's when all these the big agents will be sniffing around. Yeah. Look, if you don't give him the money that he deserves, then you know what, I'll find another team.
That's why they call the Premier League the promised land. You want to be there.
Alright, listen, Jermaine, let me come to you, Jermaine. Aston Villa's manager Steve Bruce, one of his interviews, I think, to the BBC, said, we have given ourselves a chance, and we have given ourselves a small advantage. How big is this advantage? Because look, going into a game like that, 1-up, is definitely an advantage, isn't it, against Middlesbrough?
Yes, it is. So basically, for tonight's game, Middlesbrough have to score, I think it is 2 goals for them to go through, because it's an aggregate. So I'll be backing Aston Villa to win the game tonight. I feel that they've got the better team. Their players will be up for it. Home crowd at Villa Park, so it's going to be one of the biggest games of the club's history.
Right.
So going into that game, I think Aston Villa will edge it.
And if they do edge it, Abu, then they'll be coming up against one of the London club, Fulham. That will be a big game.
I think that will be a very big game. I look forward to that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see what Aston Villa can pull out the bag.
Would you like to see? Would you like to go to the Villa Park, or you would like to go to Craven Cottage?
You know, I've loved both grounds since I was younger. I do like Villa Park, but Craven Cottage, I do remember Craven Cottage where Ronaldo scored that goal and ran to the halfway line and Ryan Giggs was slapping it. I do that. The both good rounds have great history, but because I'm a Londoner, you know, it'd be nice to have Fulham back in the West London derby and get the whole excitement going again. So maybe I'm edging a bit more Fulham if Aston Villa do make it through. But yeah, maybe I'm edging Fulham.
What about you then, Jermaine?
Oh, Aston Villa and Fulham. If that cup final does happen, I'll be back in Fulham, because like Abu said, we're both Londoners, born and raised, so it'll be nice to see another London team back in the Premier League.
Right, if you do agree or you disagree with the gentleman, the two of them, Abu and Jermaine, give me a call on 0208 191 7078 or 0208 6707 You can even WhatsApp or text us on 0788747594. When we do come back from the break, Abu will be updating us what is going on with all these managerial casualties, and also which club has appointed the new manager and which manager will be heading towards the Emirates Stadium come next season. All this and more coming up right after this.
Oh my God.
If you want, I go make you mine. If you want, I go love you, die. Anything you want, baby, say I go buy. So Me de makumama winti fa fa fa. One drum ni eti sorry sa. Hey, I'm a sukran, I'm a domo. Adia benna. Moya ya zulin chelo. Atamfu ni you. I'm a say do idia dangelo. Atamfu ni you. Intimate pesa, me cut show my messa. We are matia penna. Akuma mema, edrona juma mi huwa minna. Adia penna. Me de makumama winti fa. One drum ni eti sorry sa. Hey, I'm a sukran, I'm a domo. Adia benna. Hey, be like anything there. Oh, Adia benna. Hey, be like anything there. Danke better na yo ya. Intimija una mi yo mi de.
Right, that was Adia Penna from Kidi that we're just listening to. Like I said earlier on, you can join in the conversation by giving us a call on 0208 191 7078 or 0208 670 7300. You can even WhatsApp or text us on 0788 7475 940. Very soon I will start reading up all the text messages that we've been getting. We've got about 3 or 4 questions for you, gentlemen. So I'll be putting these questions to you from a couple of people from the States, from Ghana, and even we're text messages here from Ghana, from Nigeria. So I'll be reading all these messages to you guys. That goes a long way to show that a lot of people are listening to the show, which is really positive. Abu, has Arsenal been able to find themselves a manager yet?
Well, they keep looking, and first we're hearing Allegri, Luis Enrique. We're getting really close.
Allegri says no coming.
Yeah, we heard that the demands that Allegri and Enrique both put on the table was too much for Arsenal. They were both, rumours are saying they were both asking for £200 million plus transfer kitty if they were going to come, and they wanted some control in the system that Arsenal has put together. Will not let a manager of that caliber come in because they got too much control.
They want to control the manager.
That's what it feels like. So I think Allegri and Luis Enrique are not really up for that type of deal, which brings our attention to someone more of like an Arteta.
Someone they can control.
And Arteta, is his name, since the job came out, his name is one name that has not gone. Allegri has been about, Luis Enrique has been about, Arteta is one name that's been constant, and he's just getting more and more favourable and is not going away, and his odds has been slashed, and now Sky Bet did cancel bets on Arteta's name for the next Arsenal manager, and usually that's a big indication on where the manager is going to be, the next movement is going to be. So we just wait and hope. But right now, it's looking more like Arteta is going to be the next Arsenal manager, but we're just going to have to wait and see till they make a decision. As we know, the Arsenal board, they're very secretive, so nothing comes out to actually everything's been sorted. But Arteta looks like the favourite right now. And in terms of other management, I
learned PSG have also appointed a new manager.
Yes, they have, and Thomas Tuchel, the
Emery, and they allow Emery to go.
Unai Emery, but Unai Emery, I can see why they let him go. Not because he's not a good manager, but because he hasn't achieved what's the dreamland for PSG, their board, which is the Champions League. He's been knocked out in 2 seasons out of the Champions League, and they've won the league, but realistically for PSG, that's not enough for them to just win the league. And I think the Champions League is what they want, and that's what they're looking for, and they believe Thomas Tuchel was the best manager to come and bring that in there for them, and they've hired him. So which leaves Unai Emery open now, which Arsene Wenger has been speaking in glowing terms about him, so maybe he could be another option that might be coming to Arsenal. So we're just going to have to wait and see, but right now the favourite for the Arsenal job is an Arteta. Thomas Tuchel has gone to PSG, and Unai Emery is still looking for a job, so is Luis Enrique, and Allegri still discussing with Juventus. So let's not write anybody off yet, nothing is confirmed, but right now it's looking like Arteta would be the manager at Arsenal, but let's hope.
Let's quickly, because of our time, let's quickly have a quick discussion about Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, their new manager, Thomas Tuchel. What do we know of him?
Thomas Tuchel, we know a lot about him. He was at Dortmund. He created a great Dortmund team, and obviously we didn't end well for him at Dortmund. The way everything split up and everything that went on. I think that might have been a problem of us getting him as well, because Sev Minslat was in the middle of that whole problem with Thomas Tuchel at Dortmund, and there's a lot of mix up. But he's a great manager. We know he believes in youth. We know he knows how to bring players through. He works. He has a good, nice attacking football, and he's a young manager with he's a tactician as well. So we know he's going to bring a lot to PSG, and we just hope to see if he can give them the Champions League, because for me, the PSG job, that's all they want. The league is not enough. The cup is not the Champions League, and that's all. That's the big one. That's the big one. That's what they brought Tuchel in, and that's what they're going to expect from him.
Right. That was Abu. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was Abu Kamara, our senior sports journalist you just listened to. If you want to join in the conversation, like I said, give me a call on 0208-191-7078. When we come back from the break, I'm going to try and read out a couple of text messages that has been coming through during the course of the show. Look, gentlemen, like the Premier League is gone. The World Cup is around the corner. When we come back, we are still going to talk about Manchester City, the only team in the Premier League ever to get 100 points. How good is that?
Very good.
Very good.
We can't sit here and say they don't deserve it, because some of the football they've played during the course of the year, it was like sensational, wasn't it, Abu?
They deserve it. There's no. It tells you that there's no other team that can say, "Oh, we could have won the title this year." There's no team that can say that this year, and that tells you how good Man City was.
Right, Abu. Thank you very much. Keep locked in. We'll be right back.
It was a well-paying job, respectable, wearing a suit and tie every day. But I drank 24/7. Drank on the way to work. Drank at work.
I never could come to terms with admitting that I had an alcohol problem or a pill problem.
I decided to get clean, and so I went to the Narconon program.
Not only did I handle my drug addiction, I completely knew how to live life.
Call Narconon today at 01435 512 460. 01435 512 460.
Sponge cake, lemon cake, carrot cake, cupcakes, birthday cake, just basically cake. We love it. Whoever said you can't have your cake and eat it were just hopelessly unambitious and tragically misinformed. You can. And if you've got a smart meter, you could also save enough energy to bake 236 of them. Get your ovens on. We're having a bake-off. Save your energy for eating cake. Contact your energy supplier about getting your free smart meter.
Based on a British Gas customer study, participating suppliers and eligible customers only. Savings possible by measuring energy usage and reducing wastage.
You like for breakfast?
Well, it depends what mood I'm in. If I'm happy, I like a little bit of porridge with banana because I'm feeling healthy. If I'm in a...
Me, I like a bit of fruit. Nice apples, sliced apples.
I love
banana.
a cinnamon and raisin bagel, some scrambled eggs, and a...
I say nice English bit.
So I like fruit and orange.
I like wholemeal bagel with a bit of cream cheese on it and some bacon and then some avocado. And on the side, I like to have
fried egg with bacon, with baked beans, toast.
I normally take my cocoa. Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a typical Ghanaian, so I like my cocoa. I'm not too sure. I normally don't eat breakfast.
It doesn't matter how you like your breakfast, or you may not like breakfast at all, but you will love the sound of your radio when the breakfast is Afropolitan. Watch out for the new ABN Radio Breakfast Show with Efuadum. ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station.
Extra cups to fill. They've got an awful lot of coffee in Brazil.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart of the family ripped apart. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred or respect. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife and save a life. Quentin Slowly, supporting all family and young people.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy UG Official. And right now, you're tuned into ABN Radio. Make sure you don't touch that dial. Stay tuned.
Song on so many different dials, cause I got more hits than a disciplined child. So when they everybody barracks. Man, I'm like a young gun, fully black. I cry teardrops over the massive attack. I only make hits like I work with a racket and back. Look at my jacket and hat, so damn berserk, so down to earth. I'm bringing gravity back, adopted by the major. I want my family back. People work hard just to get all their salary tax. Look, I'm just a writer from the ghetto like Mallory Black. Man, where the hell for the sanity at? Damn, I used to be the kid that no one cared about. That's why you have to keep screaming till they hear you out.
Yes, indeed. ABN Radio UK, we still do remain the same, don't we? And the time at the moment is so 2:45, and straight after the show, we've got Sharon Rose with the Cosmopolitan Drive. She will be here to drive you home safely as you finish your daily activities and you'll be driving home. So watch out for that. Straight after the show, Sharon Rose will be here with the Cosmopolitan Drive to drive you home safely, gentlemen. Quickly, let's talk about. We've got a couple of text messages coming up. Let me just quickly read one from all the way from Nigeria. Actually, let me start with this one. James Apia Monike from Croydon is saying, guys, great show. Keep up the good work. James, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And also all the way from Nigeria, I do apologize. I won't be able to get the name right. So let me just quickly read out the text message as well. What the person is saying is we are talking about Arteta taking over at Arsenal Football Club. Would that not be a backward step for Arsenal Football Club?
Definitely. I think majority of Arsenal fans feel that way. And the thing is, it's not Arteta that's the problem, it's the board. And I think this is what people mean when they say lack of ambition. This is the opportunity to go out there and show that you want to be a big club. You want to challenge for the titles. Go and bring in a leg. We're going to bring in a Luis Enrique. Show the fans intent. Get them buzzing. But now they're going to turn an exciting situation into another doom and gloom. And you're going to bring in a manager that the fans are not going to back 100%. So if he makes one or two mistakes or lose one or two games, they won't back in square one. So that's the problem of Arsenal right now, and they have to figure that out.
Taking one step forward and like
two steps back.
It doesn't make sense.
And I think if Arteta is going to be someone that they're going to bring in, then why not stick with Wenger? Because I would rather Wenger than just bringing Arteta. I think Wenger would do better than Arteta. Not disrespect to Arteta, but Arteta is not. This is a big job, a big shoe to step into, as the media keeps saying. And to pick Arteta to do it, I don't think is the right move.
All right, another text message, another quick question also goes to the two of you. John, all the way from Virginia in the United States of America. John wants to find out from the two of us. He says, gentlemen, we've got a big game coming up in FA Cup. Final Manchester United against Chelsea. How do you see that game panning out?
I think it's all going to depend on the day who wants it more. If the good Chelsea side shows up, then they make a good game for Man United. But if Chelsea play some of the games that they've been playing this season,
do you think Mourinho wants it more?
I think Mourinho really wants it. It's against Kente, against his ex-team. Considering the recent history between the two of them, Mourinho really wants this, and I think Kente really wants it as well. But Mourinho wants it more to say, "I won a trophy. I finished second and won a trophy," and then it changes the dialogue a little bit.
Would that not be the same for? Would that not be the same for Antonio Conte? Considering the fact that he did not qualify, he won the Premier League last year. He did not qualify for the Champions League, so that would be probably his only opportunity of getting silverware for the club.
Yeah, but it's not as glowing anymore for Chelsea. Even if they want to win it. If I heard Fabregas saying that the players must come out and fight and give 110% and bring that desire to the final, but it's not as glowing as if Man United can win the FA Cup and finish second, they'll see that as progress. They haven't finished second since Fergie left.
Yes, indeed.
So if they can finish second and win the FA Cup, they'll be like, okay, won the Champions League, we won the trophy. Next year we aim for the league. But Chelsea, they're fifth. So even if they win the FA Cup, I don't think the gloss will be enough now to sell that to their fans and saying this is a successful season. So that's the difference. But I think both of them are going to go for it. But for me, Man United, if they come out and play to full potential, that team can steamroll Chelsea. Chelsea.
All right, Jermaine, the next question goes to you. That's our last question for today. Someone from Ghana, Patrick from Ghana, is asking, why don't Arsenal give a player like Patrick Vieira the chance to manage them instead of them going for Arteta, even if that's the case?
When it comes to managerial experience, Patrick Vieira does have more experience than Mikel Arteta. But it goes back to what we were saying before. They know the Arsenal board, like Gazidis and Kroenke, they probably think that Vieira is not a yes man. Yep. So they don't want someone like a Vieira that will challenge the board on when they go wrong. So maybe they want someone like a Mikel Arteta that will just come into the club and just, you know,
be grateful for
being there. So they wouldn't want someone like a Vieira, Allegri, or an Enrique, or an Ancelotti even, who were previously linked with the Arsenal job, because they know those guys will challenge the board and demand more to, you know, being elite. So maybe the board wants someone like a Mikel Arteta that could just come in and just be happy that he's there.
All right, another last message is coming as well after we're done with that. But someone also wants to know, he's a Manchester United fan. He's asking, do you think, the gap between Man United and Man City, their noisy neighbours, was 19 points. I think it was 19 points this season, isn't it? Do you think, the person asking, do we think that the gap is even going to get wider as time goes on?
No, not really. I think if Man United changed their approach to loads of games, I think the thing that cost Man United this year is games that they should have taken by the scruff of their neck. They didn't. They went defensive. Like the first game that took against Anfield, when they went to Anfield against Liverpool, when he was neck and neck with them and City at the time, they didn't go for that game. They went defensive and they drew that game, and then Man City knocked on from there. And I think if they
that brings back to that's the mentality of
it's a mentality. That's why I'm saying Mourinho needs to change his approach in that sense, because we saw it time and time again this season. Apart from the Liverpool one, the Sevilla game, they done the same thing. They went in that game when they should have been attacking and they were favoured to go through that tie. They went defensive and it ended up costing them because they conceded two goals and they went out. So it's Man United this season. It's just been about their approach. If they can approach big games differently, I think they can close that gap. Their squad,
19 points is a lot.
Yeah, their squad is as good as Man City. They just haven't performed to the best of their ability.
Are you actually telling me that United players are good as
okay, swap the managers, and if they play each other, do you think Man United can beat Man City?
I believe Pep spent his money wisely.
Yeah,
and he brought in quality talent.
But Man United brought in quality talent. Put Pogba under Pep, and you see a different player.
So if you
look at Sterling.
So what you're saying is it's all boiled down to the manager. It
boils down to the manager, and at the end of the day, in terms of how the manager plays their players, Pogba is a player that he favours attacking football.
So Mourinho's not getting the best out of Pogba then.
No, he isn't, because when he was at Juve, Pogba had the protection to go forward and take shots and play that attacking role. At Man United, they're trying to play him in a deeper role. Pogba switches off. He's a talented player, but you play him in a deeper role. Every now and again, he's going to switch off and focus more on the attacking side, and that's the problem. You need to play Pogba in his favoured position. He had Pirlo around him. He had people creating for him. So now they want Pogba to be this superstar that creates and makes. It's like the thing with Ozil as well. If you look at Ozil in the German squad, in the Arsenal squad,
if someone brings in for almost £100 million, you got to be the superstar, man.
You do have to be the superstar, but you have to also realise what you're buying. That's what it is with all this club. Some of these clubs, like Stoke, for instance, is a perfect example. You can buy all these big names. It doesn't mean anything if it doesn't fit into the system you're playing and the players you have. So you can buy Affalay, you can buy whoever it is, Hesse. If they don't fit into what you're doing, it's going to cause more trouble than good. Same as QPR when they went down, brought Granero. If it doesn't fit into what you're doing, it can be the biggest name in the world. If they don't fit to what you're doing, you can't afford to carry luxury players.
Right, listen, before we even move on to talk about Manchester City, let's talk about Stoke. I'm glad that you brought up Stoke City. 10 years in the Premier League is over. They are going back to the Championship after 10 years. Do you see all these players that you mentioned? What do you see them staying?
Some of them didn't even stay 18 months. Mbula is on loan. Hesse went back to PSG because of an injury. Who else? Affalay left. Bojan, he barely kicked predictable this year. So Arnautovic is at West Ham. So I'm just saying, like, that's what happens when you just buy names. There's no loyalty. You have to build around what you've got.
The youth is give the youth a chance.
Give the youth a chance, because that's the type of club you are. You
when they talk about rebuilding,
wasting money, and Stoke have wasted money this year in terms of their purchases. None of them, hardly of them. Barino, he's not scored for the club since they signed him for 12 million. And it just shows you where your investments have gone wrong for Stoke, really.
Do you think maybe Mark Hughes played a part in that? Because look, Mark Hughes, when he wanted to change the style of play of Stoke City. Stoke City used to be one of the difficult places to go in the Premier League, but at the moment they try to change their style a little bit. They start passing the ball. That's not the style of Stoke City.
Because they identified, I think every football club identifies with their crowd and what their crowd wants. And Stoke had their fans are gritty. They're hard to go there to play, and that's what the club represented. Mark Hughes tried to go there and play a football that was too much for them because they didn't have the players to achieve that football. No, that wasn't the right idea, but they didn't have the players to achieve the idea he was trying to achieve. And then he just started buying names to try and achieve his goals, and it just didn't work. And I said from the beginning of the season, Stoke worried me because the way that they were buying players, the names, they were just buying names. And Mark Hughes, for me, he fundamentally he created all that problem. He put them down. When you look at it, he bought those players. Those are all his decisions. He had the full control, and he made the wrong decisions. And he bought Berahino. His attitude at West Brom wasn't great, so to bring in him, it was ridiculous, really. And I just think Mark Hughes was to be blamed for them going down, really.
All right, let's move away from the bottom side of the Premier League and let's talk about the Premier League champion 2017-2018 season. Manchester City. Abu, I mean, 100 points, the only team in the Premier League so far to reach that stage, to reach 100 points in the Premier League. That's a sensational achievement.
Sensational achievement, and I think you got to congratulate on them. You have to congratulate them for that, and no one can say they didn't deserve it. I think they played the season perfectly.
It's incredible, isn't it?
They managed it perfectly, apart from the little blip at the end, which didn't really matter in terms of when you've had such a terrific season. But I think it's perfect. I think to get that amount of points in the Premier League is very difficult, as we've seen this year. So for them to do that is amazing, and we just got to applaud them. And hopefully there's a better challenge for them next year.
I mean, they won 28 games out of the 33 games, and they lost twice. They drew 3 times. Look, what should we expect from them next year? Do you think they can retain? Can go ahead and retain their title next season?
Oh, to be honest, it's going to be very difficult for Man City to retain the Premier League title.
They've got the money though. They're still going to bring in quality players.
It's true. They will continue to strengthen. Man United will want to strengthen. Chelsea will want to strengthen. Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham as well. So basically everyone in the top 6 will try and strengthen to try and close the gap, close the gap on Manchester City.
Right.
So it's going to be, I think, much more tighter than how it was this season.
All right.
This season gone, yeah.
My last question to you, gentlemen. About 2017 and 2018 Premier League, did that live up to your expectation?
Not really. But it was a great season.
Maybe let me reword it. Let me rephrase the question again. Because I know you're an Arsenal fan, so I'm not surprised you say
I'm waiting for.
Well, I've got news for you. North London's been taken over by Tottenham. So, that is a problem, isn't it? I mean, it's a big problem at the moment because it looks more like the power at North London is moving towards Tottenham Hotspur. It's shifting.
It's shifting.
It is shifting. But we have to wait to see the appointment we make. Then we'll know if we're definitely going to stay a mid-table club.
Right, Jermaine, let me just take the last word from you. What should we expect next year in the Premier League?
I think the title race is going to be much tighter.
All right.
Between the Manchester clubs, and maybe Liverpool might be in the mix as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And also, if you just joined us, so thank you very much for your company. We appreciate it. Coming up right after this is Sharon Rose on Cosmopolitan Drive to drive you home safely. Sharon is just standing right next to me. Sharon, I know you know your sports a little bit, so let me just ask you a quick question. Come closer. I mean, the Premier League have just ended. Which team do you support anyway to start? Arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, 22 years, Wenger is going. Who do you like to see at Arsenal?
Me.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You heard it here first.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Sharon in.
All right. Once again, thank you very much for your company. And enjoy the weather and have a lovely day. Take care now. Bye-bye.